Perfect. Okay, welcome everyone to the Atila Town Hall Industry Professionals and Employer Panel. So, what's the goal? Why are we doing this? There's three goals. One, collect learners with career professionals. So, you guys have basically done the training. Now it's just time to meet the people that are kind of in the field doing the actual work. I think impart inspiration and practical tips that you can use in your job search. So, I think we've kind of talked a lot about like there's two big gaps job seekers face. There's like a knowledge gap; they don't know what to do, and then there's a confidence gap, right? So when you do know what to do, it's like the self doubt and like, can I actually do it? And so kind of the goal of this is, okay, let's actually, hear some stories of people that were able to kind of overcome adversity, setbacks, lack of self-belief to get to a good place. And then finally share career opportunities at select companies. So you're gonna have an opportunity to hear from some really cool speakers that are working on really cool projects that are looking to hire people. And so this is a good opportunity for you guys to kind of tap into those opportunities. First of all, let's start with the land acknowledgement. I'm a really big fan of land acknowledgement. As someone who lives, works, and plays on this land, I'm compelled and humbled to acknowledge those who came before me. So the whole concept of this is that the land that we're on right now, even though we're meeting in a virtual space, we're all existing somewhere physically, but on our laptops virtually. And I think a big part of this is due to the fact that the people that came before us took care of the land. And the dish with one spoon philosophy, what it means to me is this whole idea of like, you look at something like, let's say Lake Ontario, right? The Lake Ontario, we all have to share the same Lake Ontario. So it's very important that whenever we're using something, we're thinking about our neighbors, we're thinking about future generations, we're thinking about our ancestors. For the agenda for today, I'm going to kind of do a little overview of the Atila program, both as a refresher of what you guys have done so far, because you should be super proud of yourself. Then I'm going to do some panelists, career stories, a large group Q&A, and then a small group breakout session where you can kind of pick what speaker you want to kind of get a bit more detail into. And then some next steps for Atila to kind of answer any questions you guys might have. Cool. So this is our lineup of speakers, and I'll let them do introductions in a moment. But before we get to that, actually, I would love to do shout outs, right? Let me see if it's still, okay, oops. Yeah, I would love to do shout outs. So first of all, yeah, let's do an overview of the program. So as you guys know, all of you right now, you guys all qualified to get a full scholarship valued at $8,000 at this program. So you guys have completed now the technical skills training piece in Collab, where you guys basically learn technical core project management skills. You received mentorship from Atila, where we kind of worked through the 4 weeks of group mentorship classes and one-on-one mentorship from LinkedIn, interview prep, project portfolio development, and things like that. You've done the hackathon now with World Innovation League, and now you're working with real life employers, like using the Ripen platform to actually work on real life projects. And then now this part of the program is the employer matching, and this is the part of that employer matching phase where we're matching up with employers, learn more about their experience and learn more about their opportunities. And of course, the goal is to actually help you guys get a job offer from this whole experience. It's not a guarantee, but we're going to try our best. So yeah, as you guys kind of remember the stuff we've already covered: goal setting, resume and portfolio review, networking, interview prep. And now by this time, you guys should have basically had one-on-ones with your mentor, and then sponsoring mentees with interviews is kind of now the phase that we're also starting to work on more. So let's do some gratitude time. So this is actually my favorite part. So there's been some really, really amazing people in this program, and I wanted to kind of give a shout out to them. And actually, maybe before I even show who this person is, can anybody maybe guess who the first name is going to be on this list? All right, if you had to guess, who would be nominated for like above and beyond contribution? Wow. Lily got it. So I want to first of all give a huge shout out to Apurv Ray. He has gone above and beyond in every way possible, from offering to host a tutorial to teach peers, offering to host a proposal to teach peers, volunteering to help organize a social mixer. Every time he's in the classroom discussion, always providing like very, very high quality contribution, always has his camera on. And he was also a finalist for Collab Demo Day. So huge congratulations to Apurv, really well done. This is two things your peers said. One of them said, Apurv, he was very helpful from the start and maintained this throughout the program, always willing to share knowledge, and I think that's an invaluable characteristic to have. Oludara as well, huge shout out to Oludara as well during the breakout room of the last session, and then Apurv is engaged in the main room throughout all the meetings. So huge shout out to Apurv, and I think it's also a testament of your work, Apurv, that I asked you guys to guess, and I think Lily guessed your name right away. Next, we have Jessica Lee. So Jessica Lee, for me, the thing that really stood out from Jessica Lee, I think is like her calm energy. I think I've sat in on like 2 classes where I heard her talk, and just very, very calm, very, very well organized. And she has very, very well detailed LinkedIn posts. Right. So this is just one example of one she made after her meeting with Hung, her career coach. And then, she gave a huge shout out to Teal as well. So thank you for that. But the level of detail and intentionality she puts into everything she does is really well recognized. So Jessica, amazing work. And then so you have here, Jessica Lee made the most significant impression on me. This is what one of your peers said, Jessica. She always had her camera on and was always active in the discussions. We also often ended up in the same breakout room groups for small group activities. And I always appreciated her being highly engaged in the conversation and giving good feedback as well. Also, she just seemed like a really kind, cool, smart person. Great job, Jessica. Next up, we have Zion Maynard. So one of the things that I really loved about Zion was that he was always willing to share resources. I remember one time he was telling me he compiled a list of job openings and then shared it with his peers, right? So even though in theory, they were kind of like competing for the same job, it's like, you know what, let's not have a scarcity mindset. Let's have an abundance mindset. Let me just share stuff with the group. And another thing I like about Zion too is that every time I hear him talk in class, the quality of insights he has is always very, very high. And your peers noticed this too, right? So someone said, Zion Maynard, he's always been a forward thinker and had valuable information that he was willing to share from his past interviews and job experiences. Someone said, Abraham King and Zion Maynard, very confident, and I enjoy the sound of their voice. Zion is very smart. It almost sounds like that person had a crush on Zion, but I don't know. And then we have Zion was a critical thinker and quite skilled when conveying information on LinkedIn. Next, we have Kelly. So one of the things I loved about Kelly, she's super, super diligent. Anytime I email Kelly to do something, she almost replies to me right away. She's one of the first people to complete the resume assignment, which I thought was super, super amazing to see. She's a very high energy speaker and asks lots of good questions, similar to what someone said about Abraham and Zion. I think Kelly, whenever she talks, her voice is always just like very engaging and enthusiastic. And she was also a finalist for the Collab Demo Day. So great job, Kelly. And then someone said, so huge shout out to Lisa as well. So someone actually gave a shout out to Lisa in this comment, said, Lisa Afuna made the most significant impression on me because she always had her camera on, actively participates throughout the group mentorship sessions, and took initiative to speak when everyone else felt shy or didn't feel like contributing at the time. And then also, I also appreciate Kelly McCournier's contribution that she's very energetic and transparent about her learnings and questions, which further supports a positive learning environment. Next, we have Oluwasure Ajayi. I really appreciate Sheree because I think sometimes, I think Michelle Abiodo was making this comment that sometimes the more introverted people tend to get overlooked. And I think Sheree tends to be a bit more introverted. But if you pay attention, you can tell that she's very, very diligent in the work that she does. So first of all, every time I look at the attendance reports for each class, Sheree is almost always there, is always on time, and sometimes she's even there like 3 minutes before the class starts. And even when I had my one-on-one with her, I got an email notification saying she joined class. She joined the meeting like, let's say, 3 minutes early. So being early to things is a really good trait to have, which Sheree does really well. And when she applied for this program, she actually sent me a message that was like pretty long, and actually each paragraph and each message she sent me back with like a paragraph, which shows that she's very intentional about what she does. So Sheree, keep up the amazing work. Okay, so next we have Simi. Yeah, so Simi, extremely high energy and enthusiastic in class, asks a lot of good questions. And yeah, so like every time she's contributing, she's always picking out really good things. Even her LinkedIn, actually, like the positivity she puts out in class is also very evident in her LinkedIn post, which is amazing to see. And then in the final mock interview, me and Michelle did, Simi basically got cold called, or she volunteered. I forget which one, but either way, she didn't have much time to prepare, but yet she still killed it. So Simi, great job going out of your comfort zone and then thriving outside of your comfort zone. Aljamain Gale. I think a lot of people have picked up on Aljamain's energy and positive vibe. One thing I personally like is that he has they have a land acknowledgement in their email newsletter. They reply to every single email that I send, and they always ask very intentional questions. And overall, their vibe and energy is like very, very thoughtful and kind. So, Aljamain, we thank you so much. I appreciate the good work that you're doing. Someone said, Aljamain for sure. They're good at everything they do, and they have a similar background to me. I was very impressed with Aljamain's positive attitude and ambition, tempered with their willingness to be helpful to their peers. So as you see, that's like a very common theme. Like people that are very helpful, people notice that. And then someone else said, Aljamain left an amazing impression. Aljamain always came to each session with a positive attitude and encouraging behavior, always ready to learn and ask questions. Jinjin Lee. So Jinjin Lee. So someone made a really great comment about Jinjin. They said, Lee made a significant impression during my experience. They were thoughtful and remained engaged during the entire cohort. We would connect after sessions and provide support to each other in order to keep each other motivated in accomplishing our goals. They were also very excited to have work sessions to jam and share our perspective, LinkedIn profiles, resumes for meaningful feedback and advice. Yes, so amazing work to all of you for doing such a great job. And please feel free in the chat to if there's anyone else that you wanted to give flowers to that you didn't have a chance or you don't see their name up on here, use the chat and, kind of use it as a way to show, public display of affection to the person that you really appreciated. But overall, really great work to everyone. Catherine, I'm seeing Catherine's face right here too. So Catherine, I didn't put Catherine up on here, but Catherine got a lot of comments. I think people were talking about how Catherine has been engaging with a lot of people on LinkedIn, the coffee chats, very supportive. And I myself too, I've actually experienced Catherine's enthusiasm. So Catherine is someone else that should definitely be up here as well too. She's done an amazing work. Nice. So next thing on the list is our speakers. So what we're going to do, we're going to kind of have each speaker kind of maybe talk a bit about themselves, their career path, and any wisdom to impart. So speaking of Temi Asa, we have Teni Yola on our banjo. So you can go ahead first and introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone, and congratulations to everyone that was recognized, and congratulations to you all for going to this program. My name is Tenny. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I am the founder of Making the Move, an organization that helps newcomers with career transition, and I'm also a diversity, equity, and inclusion specialist at KPMG Canada. In terms of my career journey, I started off as in an internship program at RBC, so I got to work in 3 different parts of the bank. From there, I went off to work in retail banking, and after retail banking, I got an opportunity to work in human resources in an executive assistant position. However, my boss, my manager, then supported me and to take on other responsibilities that would help me in my career growth. From then, I went on to become what we called an initiatives developer, where we worked on HR priority projects. And then I also got to work as an experienced designer. So my work I'll say in human resources has been more project-based. People think when they hear HR that I'm a recruiter. No, I'm not. There's a lot of other roles within human resources. So I worked on priority issues. And then right now I work for KPMG. I'm the senior manager for inclusion, diversity, and equity. And my role also involves working on projects and also making sure that the firm is equitable. Then like I mentioned, I have my own business where I'm helping newcomers. So that's a bit about me. Happy to share advice later. Thank you for having me, Tomiwa.
Thank you. My nickname for Tenny is Hi and Bye, because every time I see Tenny, she's always going somewhere. So hi Tomiwa, bye Tomiwa. Every single time I see Tenny. So fortunately, last time I saw Tenny, it was at an awards banquet and she was sitting down. So I'm like, no hi and bye today. Sit down, relax, enjoy your food. Next, we have Sana. Sana, please introduce yourself. So I think Sana is having connectivity issues, so we can come back to her. Next, we have Obafunto Olua. Some of you might recognize Funto from I think week 1 case study, and he was saying that and I was like, oh Funto, I don't know if you know, but we put you as a case study. He's like, yeah, I know. I got like a lot of DMs on LinkedIn, so that's exciting to see. Funto, please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hold on. Sorry, can you hear me now? Yes, perfect. Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Obafunto Anyolua. I am a product manager with RBC. I joined RBC as a student through an internship program called RBC Amplify. Was essentially and Tamu was actually part of that program too a couple of years after. But essentially, it was put together with all students put together to solve a real business problem. And ever since then, I have been in strategy development and strategy enablement roles, and then a business architecture role, essentially working with teams to solve problems that they had, brainstorm with them, and essentially create a future blueprint that they could follow and have recommendations for them. I did that for about 6 years, and then I transitioned into product management just over a year now, and I've totally enjoyed being in this space. I've been in product now for over a year, and essentially trying to solve problems for about 11,000 Canadian companies, and it's been an exciting opportunity also within RBC. I'm excited to meet some of you today, and so yeah, looking forward to the session today. Thanks, Tamua.
My pleasure. Thank you, Funtel. Next, we have Naomi. So me and Naomi actually met like actually 30 minutes ago for the first time face to face, but I've been following her stuff on LinkedIn, and as you'll probably notice, she has quite an interesting accent. Um, so I'll just let her explain her story because she has quite a cool story. Naomi.
Thanks, Tomawa. I'm glad to be here. So hi everyone, my name's Naomi Robinson. I am a management consultant at technology consulting firm called Capgemini. And as you can probably tell from my accent, I'm from London, UK. And I recently migrated to Toronto to really start my international career, especially in tech. So yeah, that's how I connected with Tomawa, because I normally try and share on my platform how young professionals can, start their international tech career. So looking forward to connecting with anyone who's interested in that in the future. And in terms of consulting, I'm a user experience consultant. So that means that I mainly work with clients to understand how they can design their digital apps and websites for their colleagues. But I also do business analysis roles as well. So I know that some of you are doing business analysis training. So I'm happy to answer any questions about a BA role. So yeah, that's a bit about me.
Thank you, Naomi. Next, we have Suneet Joshi. So Suneet, first of all, huge congratulations to Suneet. He started a new position today actually at AMD, and I'll let him tell you all about it. And I called Suneet out on this before. I'm going to call him out again, but he sent me an email before. He's telling me, well, please make sure when you refer to me as AMD because that's my new role. So I'm super proud of him because he really deserves it. He's an amazing person. But yeah, Suneet, tell us a bit about yourself.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sameer. Thank you everyone for all those reactions and congratulations that I received from my group also that I was mentoring. So thank you so much. And congratulations to all of you who are receiving the shout outs. Very well deserved. Some of you have actually spoken to, so huge congratulations to all of you. Myself, Suneet Joshi, in terms of my career, it has been quite a ride of 9 years. I started my journey in India where I graduated, completed my master's. One thing that I'll kind of talk through all of my experiences, the power of connection and networking. Because each and every job that I've got in my life has been through connections and networking. Be it my first job after graduation, that was also through reaching out to campus, companies which are coming to our campus, showing them my excitement to meet them. And that's how I stood out to them as a potential candidate, apart from like the group of almost 150 students that were there interviewing alongside me. That was my first job, started in India. And then another job that I got was from a referral that I got, again, introduction, using my connections and moving from one company to another. And then I immigrated to Canada in 2018. I was actually, I don't know how many of you have felt it, but I actually had an offer before coming to Canada. I did not apply for a work permit. I just got my permanent residence and I started looking for jobs, but I had an offer. And I really feel lucky because I've heard stories from other immigrants who have been struggling to find jobs, not just today, but even back in 2018. So I really felt lucky. But again, that was through connections, through networking. I was just not simply applying for jobs. And then going beyond that, started with Thomson Reuters, been there for 5 years, hit an unexpected roadblock. I was laid off in July this year. Amongst very senior talent in the company and very experienced talent. But then has been quite a ride since July. Finally got a job, as you heard from Tomiwa. I joined AMD. Today was my first day, actually. So I'm a campus recruiting manager for Canada at AMD now. And, I'm very glad to be here because all of you are looking for jobs. You're recent immigrants or you're studying. So there are internship positions, co-op positions that you can apply for. And we'll talk more about it. But again, this job was also through connection, also through references. I just did not apply for jobs. I was cold calling people. I was cold messaging people. As Tomiwa mentioned about one of the shout outs, there is a lot of power in outreach. There is a lot of power in reaching out to people. Just don't consider applying. Use your connections, use your networking. That's your strength. And yeah, all the best to you, and we'll talk more.
Yeah, it's funny. I remember actually when I gave Suneet this offer, when I told Suneet about this opportunity coming up, it was actually when he was in the, I didn't know if he was going to bring up the layoff thing from Thomson Reuters, but now that he said it, I can talk about it, I guess. Yeah, I remember he was telling me about that. And like, yeah, Tenny's right. Layoffs are tough, but I'm so glad that Suneet was able to get back on his feet because like some people like Suneet deserve it. So yeah, happy for you.
Thank you, Doria.
Okay, next we have Usha Srinivasan. And
Thank
actually,
you.
before Usha, sorry, before you go, I have to give a huge shout out to Usha for her level of diligence. So I think maybe she's like the older version of Sheree. Comes to meetings super early. She was always the first one. When I messaged her, I think at like 6 a.m. in the morning, she replied right away. And her enthusiasm is very infectious. So Usha, thank you so much.
Thank you, Tomiwa. I was going to say, you know, I am going to age myself. I've graduated in 1987 from my high school. So I'm pretty much older than most people on the call, maybe. I'm not sure. But my career story is a little longer. I'm sorry if I take too much time, but I'm going to go through it quickly. But I really, I'm amazed at how many people are in this call. 110 people. That's fantastic to be attentive and hear this session today. So I am from India, like Suneet, but I moved to the UK to go through my bachelor's degree and PhD. So I'm a clean tech scientist by training. I'm a microbiologist. And I'm an accidental Canadian because I came to the US to do a postdoc, and I was going to be an associate professor. That didn't pan out because the US didn't want me there. So good for Canada. So I ended up in a university here in Canada. But, doing research was exciting, but at the same time, I really wanted to understand what it meant to be in the business aspects of things. How do you commercialize? How do technology work? So I ended up in market research for about 10 years in a company called Frost & Sullivan. And then after that, I really wanted to work with startups. One of the key things that market research companies do is provide that critical information when you're building a business, and startups didn't have access to that. So that was very clear to me. So I ended up at Mars Discovery District, which is one of the largest incubators here in Canada, as you know, and spent about 10 years again, from 2008 to 2019. Helping startups with all aspects of their business. So I grew as a person, as a leader in the organization. And then just before the pandemic, not knowing there was a pandemic going to come, in 2019, I took the risk to dip my toe into entrepreneurship. So I went and built a technology startup incubator, and I worked part-time in an events organization called Elevate Tech Festival, which you might have heard of. So I was chief of staff there, so I did a little bit of everything for the CEO. But guess what? 2019, the pandemic hit, and I chose two things. Events and food business were both not conducive to the pandemic. So I had to literally fire everybody, then fire myself, the events organization. And I had to shut down my food business, and I was out of a job for the first time in my life. So I can relate to what Suneet said. Best led plan. So I appreciate what he said about networks. Every single job I've had, and we can maybe get into this more later on, has been because I have really thought about what do I want to do, which is the organization that aligns to my values, and where can I add value in a different sector that doesn't have this already. So I went from a market research firm working with large companies to working with startups. They needed my skill set, for example, at Mars. So that's always been my principle, to find something that's unique, my unique selling point, to find the next opportunity. And then, lo and behold, I found myself looking for opportunities, and again, leverage my network. And I really did not want a job that doesn't align with my values again. So I actually went back to the ground zero to look for something that I can build. I'm a builder, and I want to be in a kind of a small startup environment. So I ended up at TMU to build the incubator that I'm running now, called Brampton Venture Zone. And related to that is this talent program that we have, which we can get into more. If any of the people on the call are interested to know more, we can share the link with you a little bit later, or maybe Tomiwa can share the link for Be Ready Talent.
Yeah, I'll get it right now.
Yeah, and so happy to share more about that. This is to help new Canadians. I was also a new Canadian way back in 1997 when I arrived here in Canada. And the challenges of finding employment then are still the same in 2023. So I created this program just for that. So I'll stop there for now, Tomiwa, and we can talk more about that.
Yeah, exactly. So when we have the Q&A, we'll have a chance for you to talk a bit more about that kind of stuff. Okay, last but definitely not least, we have Annie Zhang. I think one of the cool things about people like Annie that are like, I guess, I'm going to say childhood, but let's call it adolescenthood because we met in university, is that you can kind of see their progression. So I remember when me and Annie first met, she was stressing out about getting a job at Shopify. And now she's worked at Shopify, she's left Shopify, she's gone to Amazon, Meta, Facebook, and now she's a senior product manager at Roblox. So it's funny because the image I have of Annie is like when she was stressing out about Shopify, but now she's doing really well for herself. She has the Hello Metaverse podcast. Yeah, so I'm just really excited to have Annie back. So Annie, please tell us a bit about yourself.
Yeah, hi everyone. Man, I'm getting like a flashback to when I was super stressed trying to get my job at Shopify. Yeah, so I guess my journey has been my career has mostly been in product management. I post school, I've pretty much always worked on consumer technology products, and that's kind of become my niche. But I think what was interesting in terms of like how that manifested or how that happened, it wasn't direct at all. When I got to Western as a pre-business student, I was super lost. I was a very artsy kid. I went to an arts high school. I did a lot of music. My passions are like figure skating, music, and like the yearbook or something like that. And so when I found myself in a place where everyone already knew the business world really well, they knew what jobs they wanted, they just had a path for themselves, I felt extremely lost. And what made me love tech was actually recognizing how much creativity there is involved in tech and how much you can really like charge forward a unique path of your own. And a lot of being in tech is about building things and creating things and being on an accelerated path to delivering value to other people. So yeah, like one step after another, I kind of gained my confidence in understanding what the tech world had to offer and really develop my perspective on what I personally wanted and what I personally cared about. And I think ultimately with product management, I tried out so many different roles, whether it's marketing or front-end development or data science or business development. And I recognized that I didn't want to do a single job itself. I really want to lead people in order to bring all of these different things together and then like conquer a shared dream. So yeah, my journey was interesting. I think every step of the way in my career, it's been a huge challenge. I think it's really easy to see people, you know, hit really good career milestones and think, oh, that was a walk in the cake. Like they just deserve that because, you know, they're legit or whatever it is. But to Tomiwa's point, when I was really adamant on getting this product management job at Shopify, I basically was banging on their doors for 7 months, trying all of these different techniques in order to get conversations in, get them to listen to me, get them to figure out a role for me, etc. And that has really been my progression since, is every new job that I've gotten, I've really, really fought for. I've really tried to figure out what is the narrative that makes me valuable at that particular role, and really try to anticipate the needs of others in order to refine my pitch and make it so that they want to hire me over other people. But anyways, we can get more into all of that later. Right now, I'm currently working on music and bring music onto Roblox in a bigger way. But I've also worked on a bunch of other consumer products like video products and social products, a bunch of permutations of social products, essentially. Cool. I'll pass it back to you.
Thank you. All right, cool. Thank you so much, everyone, for those introductions. So now it's time for open Q&A, so people can feel free to raise their hand. You can put a question in the chat to any of the speakers, and then they can answer it. And then we'll probably spend about, I think, 15 to 30 minutes on this. And then after that, so once we've answered the question from the whole group, we'll now have like small breakout sessions where each of you can now have your own room with the students can ask questions. You guys can share things you want to have on your mind and things like that. So yeah, questions for any of the panelists. Darren has a question. All right. And she was ready to go. Darren, go ahead.
Thank you, Tomiwa. Thank you, everyone. So I think my question is for Annie, because she mentioned something like she didn't just get this job, she was literally like banging on the doors. But like I guess my question is, um, how do you bang on the door and still, because like it's different, right? Like how do you even get yourself to be noticed by the companies you want to work with? Like aside, being persistent and, checking out the company and reading up about it, what else did you do specifically? Thank you.
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think typically when you really want something, it's a combination of like being extremely well prepared and doing everything possible to set yourself up for success. And then it's also persistence and tenacity. And so in my case, I really wanted to work for Shopify. At that point, I just thought it was the coolest company ever and couldn't see myself anywhere else. And so when it came to preparation, I did have a lot of different assets and experiences that I could really like articulate that really fit the bill for product management. So at the time, I was leading a really big nonprofit that spread across different campuses. I don't know what organizations are big anymore, but imagine the Atila for a bunch of different campuses. That was basically it. And I did a lot of leadership stuff around like Inspire, which is the organization. I did have a bunch of different internship positions. And I think all of this set me up well for a really good network and somewhat of a sense of legitimacy. So at the point when I wanted to work for Shopify, there was a mentor that I had who apparently worked on like a partnership between Pinterest and Shopify at the time. And so there was a warm intro that I got to one of the hiring managers at Shopify. So again, it was not like I was physically banging on the doors of Shopify. I did have a warm lead, and I think that's important to really position yourself so you have a good network, a good reputation, and people who are really willing to vouch for you. But of course, that's never enough. And so the process continued to be me first like setting up some coffee time and really preparing my pitch, right? I made it so that it was more of a natural conversation where I drove the conversation. I wanted to make sure that I delivered value through the short 30 minutes that I had with this hiring manager. So I think I actually examined one of their most recent product launches and did like a full business case around it and kind of shared my opinions about like, if I were working on that product, what would I do? After that conversation, I don't think he was sold at all. And so, every time I'd email him, I would be like, hey, here are a bunch of other thoughts I've had on this product. And here's even like a Shopify store that I've created outlining everything that I would be doing for the first 90 days of the job. So I really went above and beyond. I really got super creative in trying to show how I was cool in different ways. I think I also wrote like a BuzzFeed article of like 20 reasons why you should hire me. And it was kind of quirky and fun. So really just like all out. But it wasn't obnoxious necessarily, or I hope it wasn't obnoxious. Maybe at certain points it did get obnoxious. But it was always trying to be creative, trying to be fun, trying to be positive and offering value. So yeah, that was kind of the story.
And excellent story, Annie. And actually, I put a link in the chat about Annie actually did an interview with me way back in the day. And I'll even link the link in, and again the Spotify one. So if you want to like hear more about how she did it and all the stuff she did, there's a podcast where she did that. Let me open the queue again of people who have their hands raised. 1 second. Okay, I just see Simi's name. Okay, no, I think Atila had her hand up first. Atila, do you want to ask your question?
Yes, thank you, Tomiwa. And thank you all of our speakers for sharing your background and your experiences. So nice sharing everyone's different backgrounds and, what you've done in the past to get you to where you are today and all very inspiring stories. My question is, okay, let me rephrase. So I have been doing a bunch of research regarding like products and just like product management and interviewing for like product management roles. And there is like so much information out there regarding like how to prepare for an interview. Some say it has taken them it took them 6 months to prepare for their interviews. So I wanted to ask like Annie or even like Obafunto, either one of you can answer this. I believe you both have like the products background, or really anyone. How do you best, what based on your lived experiences, what would be your recommendation / advice, like when you're preparing for your product interviews? Because the biggest thing I feel like the biggest takeaway I've gotten is a product interview is not like your regular interview. So if you could shed some light into how that differs from like a regular interview versus like a regular job interview, and also if you have any recommendations for how to best prepare and have or tips and tricks of the trade that you can share, that would be very helpful. Thank you.
I guess I can take this and start first. Okay, thanks for that question. So if I'm going to speak on my lived experience, I leverage networking more versus going through interview process. However, like I'd mentioned, I had always been in strategy roles. So where I'm at the forefront trying to help plan, trying to understand what the problem is, provide recommendations for executives or the teams, and then they go deliver on it. And then I had been doing this for about 5 years, and it was great. But then I realized that I was missing ownership. I was missing the ability to have a tangible product that I had an end-to-end view on it. So being able to say, hey, right from the start, plan it, to brainstorming, to prioritizing, road mapping, and then actually putting it into production and testing it out while it's in production and seeing just feedback from our clients. And that was something I was missing. And so I started to network with some of my mentors and sponsors within RPC at that time. And the conversations I was having was trying to understand, like, I knew what product was actually, before I started those conversations, I went out to do the CSPO certification. And my rationale for that really was to be more familiar with product lingo. And that helped a lot. And then I spoke to mentors that advised me on a couple of courses with Udemy that just helped me again be able to connect the dots between my previous experience versus what I understood product to be. And then I realized, hey, I have product light experience. So yes, I have not directly been in product, but I had done strategy for a problem. I had prioritized, I had roadmap, I had created a variety of options. And then I was able to take all of those conversations or learnings from that and being able to apply my experience versus what product is, and in the conversations with folks at product and RBC. And so when I was speaking with them, it's more like, hey, this is my experience when it comes to product, right? I have product-like experience, and this is what I have done. And being able to tie it and connect those dots was very helpful, because I had done the CSPO certification, which was really a weekend of studying on what backlogging looks like, what writing a user story looks like, all of that fun stuff. And it helped, because a lot of what comes with product can be, tagged as soft skills too. How good are you in communication? How good are you in telling a story? How good are you at providing perspective? How good are you at understanding what the pain point is and solving for that? How good are you at understanding what is priority versus not, and making those hard decisions when you have to? And if I'm to speak on my lived experience, it was being able to understand how my current role or my previous experience, how it did tie very well into product, and then being able to work with mentors to frame that storytelling when I needed to speak with folks who could open the door into product for me personally.
Very well said. And Funto, I have to give you a shout out, because I think I've known you since you were like when we were at Amplify, and like I've noticed you become a very, very, very strong speaker. Like your speaking skills are very good. So
I appreciate that.
So now we're going to do the small group breakout sessions. So this is a chance for you to kind of pick whoever you want to kind of ask more questions. I see Sammy, Catherine, Amber, Lisa, and Apurv all have questions. So, and I'm sure there's even more people as well. So we'll make the small groups. So I'm going to go ahead and make breakout rooms now.
Sorry, I just want to say, Tom, like I was on a conversation with So Victor, please feel free to connect with me separately. I know I wasn't paying attention to the timer, so I was caught mid-sentence, but we can always chat offline.
That's fine. That's fine. I appreciate that a lot.
Yes, I mean, same thing happened. Like 2 people didn't get to ask a question. So I'm happy for anybody in the program, if they have any specific things to ask me, to, connect with me on LinkedIn, or I'm going to put my email here.
Yeah, same. I'll echo that as well. I think there was still another name that I needed to ask a question. Please feel free to reach out. I know I need to go to my LinkedIn and pay attention to the request. I'm currently on vacation, which is why I've not really been on LinkedIn, but I will respond over the next couple of days.
Yeah, Funto actually joined the speaker prep meeting from the back of an Uber, so thank you for the dedication to join.
Cool.
And I think that whenever you have people, like you guys are going right up to like the last minute of the breakout session, I think it's actually a good thing because those people are engaged. So I'm actually super proud to see how you guys have been doing and engaging with the mentors, because they have a vast amount of wisdom. And so like the last thing I'll talk about now is kind of what's next for the Atila program. So you can see my screen here. So the big thing I would say is, so the big thing I would say is, 1, finish your one-on-one mentorship sessions. So you have until December 7th to finish those sessions with your one-on-one with your mentor. And then we're going to start off the employer matching. So basically now we've worked with you guys for about, let's say, close to 4 months in a group setting and one-on-one setting. So we know how you guys operate in a group. We also have feedback from your peers. We also have feedback from your mentors. We have like 3 very strong data points. And we're now going to kind of take these data points and kind of build a relationship with employers like we've already been doing, and kind of start to like kind of match you guys up with companies that we think you'd be a good fit for. And you can also let us know what kind of roles that you're interested in. And then the final thing is an in-person social. The date is still TBD, but there's definitely a lot of excitement for meeting up in person. And I'll be super excited to see you guys as well too. So those are the 3 things next steps on the agenda. And if you want to help out with the in-person social as well, feel free to shoot me a message or a perv as well. He's super accessible. So actually message him. Don't message me. Message him. I have too much stuff on my plate, but message him, and then I'll work with the perv to kind of put something together for that. But yeah, overall, like super proud of all of you guys. Super proud of. Thank you so much for the mentors for coming in. You guys always know how to reach me via email or on Discord. And please, again, reach out to like Usha, Funta, Annie, Tenny, Naomi. And again, thank you so much, everyone, for such an amazing experience.
Thank you for your leadership.
Thank you, Usha.
Thank you, Tomiwa. Thank you, everyone.
Take care.
Yes, thank you, Sunit, as well. Enjoy the rest of your day, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thanks, Tomiwa.
Thank you,
Thanks, everyone.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you.